So on this little graphic here, the first thing that I want to do is I want to just show you visually what we mean by quartiles. So how many items are listed here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's an odd number of items to deal with. So when I find the middle, okay, I need to find the middle. Okay, so I'm going to go 7 this way, 2, 4, 6, 7. This right here. Okay, that's my median. That's my middle number, and that would be quartile number 2. Okay, and I'll show you what we mean, why we're calling that quartile 2. Okay, we have a minimum value, and we're going to have a maximum value. Okay, and then no matter what we do today, with that being said, you need to make sure you put your data in order from least to greatest, okay, in order for this to work. So the median, which is also called the second quartile, that is the middle number, or the average of two middle numbers. And that's when you have an even set, right? Would you agree? Okay. And what that means here, okay, we don't have an even number, we have an odd number. So this right here is our middle. That's quartile 2. Okay. What that means is that 50% of our data is below it and 50% of our data is above it. Okay. Okay, a quartile is a value that divides your set of data into 4 equal parts. So no matter how many you have, and no matter what the numbers are, 4 equal portions. Okay? Now the first quartile, so we have Q2. We have the first quartile, Q1. That is the middle of the lower half. Sorry, trying to be able to put my paper where I can write, and then you can see it straight. Perfect. It is the middle of the lower half. So basically, we're going to be focusing on the lower fourth of the data. Okay, 25% will be below that value, and 75% will be above it. So forget this. All right, now right here, you see all of that? We need to find the middle of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, which X is the middle? The fourth one, right? So this right here, okay, that will be Q1. Okay, Q1. So 25% of our data is here, and 75% of our data is up here. Okay? So this is our lower quarter. This is our second quarter. This is half. This is the upper half. Kind of see how those are kind of dividing up. And then we're going to do the same thing with our third quartile. So our third quartile, which we call Q3, we're going to ignore this, and then we're going to go find the middle of that. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So this one right here, this is Q3. All right. each of these is 25% of your data. Okay? This is the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. No, I'm not talking about football. Okay. The minimum value is obviously your lowest number, and the maximum is your highest number. Okay? Always put data in order, least to greatest, first. Most people will only do that when they need to find the median. But when you're working with data, just make it a habit, no matter what. Put them in order from least to greatest. Then not only do you have access to the median, but you have access to a whole bunch more, because if you're working with quartiles and outliers, you got to know least to greatest anyway. So it's just a really good way to think about things. Okay, interquartile range. So to find your interquartile range, we call it IQR, because we don't want to write interquartile range every time. We don't want to write that. It's too much. Okay. So, by the way, we're on page 3 of our notes packet. Okay. You're going to take Q3 and you're going to subtract Q1. Obviously, Q3 is going to be a bigger number, so it has to go first. Okay, that's how you're going to find your interquartile range. Okay. Now, a lot of times your outliers are going to be way over here. Okay, so and we're going to talk today, like, how do you know when the numbers that are way at the ends, how do you know if they are an outlier? Okay. Does anybody know what an outlier does to your data? Okay, so an outlier is going to skew your data. It's going to warp it. It's not going to give you a true picture. So a lot of times, we have to verify if we have an outlier or not. And if we do, a lot of times, depending on what we're using our statistics for, we can exclude the outliers to get a more accurate picture. There are some people that will take statistics and they will use them inappropriately to say whatever they want to say. And that's usually when we start talking about how it is spread out. Are the outliers included? Or are they not included? So statistics give you a picture of what's happening. And if you want to skew someone to your way of thinking, you can mess with the statistics to get people to think the way you think. So you got to be really careful when you're looking at, when people say, you know, oh, 90% of people love Algebra 1. Okay, well, that might be from a math teacher perspective, but maybe not from a student perspective, right? So be careful when you're looking at statistics. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to be calculating some things. We're going to practice calculating these things. And then we're going to worry about the the outliers, because you'll need the IQR for that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to look at is, are these all in order from least to greatest? They look like it to me. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have an odd number. Yes? They're not?
Yeah.
Which one? Oh, good catch. But do I have 17? Okay. All right, so 29 actually needs to be like way over here, right? Okay, good catch. I'm glad you were paying attention. 7, 9, 11, 14, 15, 16, 20, 23, 24, 29, 31, 33, 33 again, 34, 36, 37, 38. Now they're in order. Good catch. Okay, I do have 17. If I take away 1, then I have 16. Divided by 2, I get 8. So I need to go past the first 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 8 this way, which means 24 is what Q2 would be. There should be 8 on both sides. So here I'm going to write 24. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down, just for habit, because you're going to need it in a little while, the minimum is 7 and the maximum is 38. I'm writing that down because eventually I will need to be mindful of those two numbers. Okay, quartile 1. All right, I'm going to ignore everything. I need to find the middle of this set right here. So there's 8 of them, right? So I go find the middle 2 numbers. Now, what is in between 14 and 15? 15 is not in between 14 and 15.
14.5.
14.5. Do you remember yesterday? Take your sum and you divide by 2. This right here would be Q1. So 14.5. I talked about when you have 2 numbers and you add them and divide by 2, you're typically going to get a 0.5. Right? So, okay. So 14.5 is in between 14 and 15. That's Q1. Now we're going to do the same thing up here. 3 this way, 4. Okay, so these two. What is the middle? This is Q3. What is the middle of 33 and 34? 33.5. Now, if you want to go ahead and add them up and then divide by 2, you absolutely can. Or you can think about it. They're 1 unit apart. They're 1 unit apart. If they're not 1 unit apart, that doesn't work. Okay? If it was like 30 and 34, you would need to think, well, what's in between 30 and 34? What's in between 30 and 34?
32.
32. So it's not always a 0.5. You just need to be mindful of where it is. Okay, now IQR, remember that is Q3 minus Q1. So we're going to take our 33.5 and we're going to subtract our 14.5. What is that? 19 exactly? Agreed. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's see. Are these in order? Yeah, they look like they're in order, right? Okay. For giggles, my minimum is 18, my maximum is 92. I'm just doing that out of habit. So they are in order. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 10, so I have an even set. So when I go here and look for my median, my quartile 2, okay, my quartile 2, I have to do 62 plus 65, and then I have to divide by 2, right? By the way, you can put that in your calculator all at one time. 62 plus 65. If you put it in parentheses, then you can just hit divide by 2, and you'll get 63.5. Okay. All right, now, this is going to look a little different. 63.5 is right here, yes? Is that true? Okay, so ignore all of this up here. What is the middle of this lower half? 62 is now part of that lower half. It's below 63.5. So 41 is the middle. That is Q1. Now I'm going to ignore the lower half. 65 is above my 63.5. Very nice, 75. That is Q3. Okay, and then my IQR, Q3 minus Q1, so 75 minus 41. What do you get? You get 34. Okay? All right, one more time. Please stop. Okay, are they in order? They look like it. Okay, how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I got 16, and did I count right?
Yes.
So I need to go to the middle 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So these two, all right, so Q2, I want the middle in between those two numbers. So 61 plus 67 divided by 2, I get 64. Do you agree with 64? Okay, all right. So for our notes, I'm going to go ahead and write 61 plus 67 divided by 2. That way, if you're doing this on your own, you can see what we did. All right, so now, again, anything below that line is the bottom half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to have 4 and 4. No, 4 and 4. Yes? So I need the middle of this. Correct? Okay. So 36 plus 41, and I'm going to divide it by 2. $38.5. Okay, now we're going to go do the same thing, everything above that line. Okay, so I'm going to have to take 88 and 92. So I want Q3 is directly in the middle of those. So 88 plus 92, and then we're going to divide by 2. And I got 90. Did you get 90? Okay. And then our IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So I'm going to take 90, not either of these. I'm going to take the 90, and I'm going to subtract the 38.5. $51.5. I agree with you. Okay. So again, the IQR is what we're finding here. Okay, that's what we're doing when we do this last step. Okay, are there any questions about this set of examples? Yes? No? You're good? Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, an outlier. Well, it's a piece of your dad. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Data. Piece of dad. Ooh, now I'm going to go home and call up my dad and say, hey, outlier. Just kidding. You know, sometimes we have typos. That's supposed to say data. A piece of data that, have you guys noticed with the rise of AI that a lot of times the computer will change what you type automatically and you have to actually check and make sure it makes sense?
Yep.
So, let's blame that on AI. Okay, a piece of data that is unusually high or low when you compare it to the rest of the data. Okay, so, outlier. Here are the steps. Step 1, calculate your IQR. Remember that that is Q3 minus Q1. So you actually have to do all of this first, right? This is what you have to do first. And then, all right, so you have to do the stuff on the previous page. Got to find all these things so that you can find your IQR. Once you find the IQR, you're going to take it and multiply it by 1.5. Okay? And then when you get this number, so this is going to be some number that you get, that will allow you to get your boundaries. Now there's going to be 2 boundaries. There's going to be a low boundary and a high boundary. See how this says Q1? This will be our low boundary. And this says Q3, and that will be our high boundary. In other words, anything that is lower than this number or higher than this number in our data is an outlier. Okay? Anything that, right here, this is my low boundary, so I'm looking for things that are lower than this number and higher than this number. Okay, so let's give it a go. Right here, let's see. First of all, are they in order or do I need to rearrange them? Oh, yay, they're in order. Okay, so how many do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Perfect. 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6. Okay, I get 39 for Q2. So I'm going to write that down here. By the way, if you ever are doing these and you don't have a cute little table that looks like this, you literally can just list it. You can say Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and you can do IQR, and then you can do out. You can just make a list. Okay? Yeah? All right. So we got that part. Now, let's go find the middle of this lower half. So how many are there? 3, 6, 7, 36. So this is Q1. So Q1 is going to be 36. Now, Miss Bailey, what's Q0? Guess what Q0 is?
To start.
It's your starting number. So it's 28. Okay. Yep. All right, what's our Q3? 42. So we have Q3. And then 57. Okay. This will be Q4. This is Q2. So, you know how we said that the median was Q2? Your minimum is Q0. Your maximum is Q4. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to go find the IQR. So, we're going to have, what, 42. Ooh, I almost wrote 42 minus 36. What is that? So it's 6. Okay. Now, outlier. Do you see how we have the S in parentheses? What that means is you actually can have more than one outlier. Okay. So what we got to do is we're going to find our low boundary. Well, we're going to take 1.5 times the IQR, right? So that's 1.5 times 6. Huh? 9. Okay, that's a very important number. Okay? You with me so far? Okay. So now we're going to find our boundaries. Let's do it up here. We have Q1, and we're going to do minus 1.5 times our IQR. That's what we have to find. Well, what is Q1? 36 minus, didn't we already calculate that? What is it? That's 9, right? And what is 36 minus 9? 27. So anything below 27 is an outlier. Okay, now we need our upper boundary. Q3 plus, did you notice that? Yes. Got to be bigger than, because it's the upper boundary. So 42 plus 9, right? So when you calculate your IQR, just go ahead and do it, multiply it by 1.5 and get that number, and you already have it. So 42 plus 9, 51. Okay, so now you look at your data. First of all, go see if you have a 27. Do you have a 27? No. Do you have a 51? Well, wouldn't it be like up here? Okay, so anything above 51 is an outlier. So guess what? You have one outlier, and it is the number 57. So Q4 is the outlier itself. Okay, see, and I always draw the boundary line. If you have a boundary, draw the boundary line. Okay, so let's go do it one more time. And then you'll have plenty of time to get your assignment finished, just like yesterday. You guys did really good yesterday. Okay, first of all, are these in order? Yes. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 of them. Okay, Q0 is 4. Q4 is 40. And then we need Q2, so this is Q0. This is Q4. We need to know the middle of those. 24 plus 27. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, so 24 plus 27 is 51. If I divide that by 2, then I'm going to get 25.5, which is Q2. 25.5. All right, let's go find Q1 and Q3. I need the middle of these two numbers right here. Yeah. So right there in the middle, 21. And then obviously we would do the same up here. So 29 plus 33 divided by 2. I got 31. Did you get 31? Okay. So 31. Now we need to find the IQR. All right, so 31 take away 21 is how much? 10. Okay, well, let's go ahead and just do 1.5 times the IQR. So that is 10 times 1.5, which is, okay. So this number right here is what we're going to use. We're going to add that or subtract it from our quartiles, right? Okay, so this one, Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. Q1 is 21, and then I will subtract 15. Okay, all of this is 15. 21 minus 15 is 6. So on my graph, anything below a 6 is an outlier. Now I'm going to go do the upper boundary. Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So we get 31 plus 15. Okay, so 46. And 46 would be over here, right? Okay, so how many outliers do we have? We only have one. What is it? 4. It's a 4. This is my outlier. And then I've already mentioned this. You can have more than one outlier. So you have to, I'm a big proponent of drawing these lines. Okay? All right, so when you walked in, you picked up a piece of paper that looks like this, right? Okay? So let's take a look really fast. You're going to calculate all the requested items. So you're going to Q0, Q1, the median, Q3, Q4, the IQR, all right, and the outlier. So remember that IQR is the Q3 minus the Q1. You double check that these are in order. They may or may not be in order. And then look at this. Determine whether the data set has any outliers. If it does not, you write none in the outlier blank. Did everybody see that? So Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, that's your lower boundary. Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR, that will be your upper boundary. That's how you're going to get your outliers. And you're going to do this. You have 3 on the front and 3 on the back. On the front, they're all in order. But look at the back. On the back, you have to put it in order first. That's why we put it over here on the far left, so that you would have plenty of room. Okay, before I stop the video and allow you to work, does anybody have a question I can answer that might also be beneficial to someone else? Okay.